Now, despite the disruptions caused by the coronavirus pandemic on the world economy and the global stock market in the year 2020, the Nigerian capital market performed beyond expectation to record one of the best performances in 6 years and wiping off the negative performances recorded in 2019. Now, this impressive feat, according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Oscar Yema, made the federal government raise well over 2.36 trillion naira from the capital market in the year 2020. During its presentation, now the 2020 market recap and the 2021 outlook, Mr. Yema said the federal government issuances amounted to 92% of total bond issuances in the market, as capital raising activities in the fixed income market also increased significantly in 2020, making the NSE's bond market capitalization to also rise by 35.52% from 12.92 trillion naira in 2019 to 17.5 trillion naira. Joining me now via phone to review the impressive performance of the Nigerian stock market in the year 2020 and also the forecast for the year 2021, I have with me a stockbroker and equity trader at Planet Capital Limited, Paul Uzum. Good afternoon, Paul.
Good afternoon.
Now, Paul, let's start first and foremost with a recap of activities for the year 2020. Quite an impressive feat. And we're also seeing NSE's bond market capitalization also rise about 35.5% as well. It's been quite a bullish front we've had so far in terms of the activities and the volume of transactions we've seen in the market. What do you make of the overview we saw in terms of Oscar Yema's presentation in the recap of the performance for the year?
Okay. Last year, the market gained as much as 50%. I think the major issue there was, one, the fall in interest rates. Interest rates fell at money market to as low as 1%, while the average yield on bonds also fell significantly to as low as between 6 and 7% for paper bonds listed as FNBQ. So that made that segment, the fixed income market segment, somewhat unattractive for investors, and much of such funds that were going to the fixed income space found its way into the Nigerian equity market. That's why you had that bullish run in the market from October down to December last year. And apart from that, we recorded a significant recovery in price of crude oil, which had slumped earlier in the year to as low as $18, $20, $18 a barrel, recovered significantly, and as of today, we're having about $55 a barrel. So those are things that give strong sense of confidence on the economy and the equities, the equities that are listed. Mind you, most of these equities were grossly underpriced. As at mid last year, what the situation we're in, Nigerian equities, besides the major ones, were going for a decent yield of as high as 15-16%. The share of stocks that guaranteed Senate Bank. So what we saw last year was something like a price correction, a market trying to reprice those assets, especially in the light of a new interest rate regime, a regime of low interest rates. For going forward for this year, 2021, what most traders are watching out for is...
We seem to have lost Paul Uzum there. We'll try to reconnect. We'll just take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll also bring you updates from the closing transaction on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Don't go anywhere.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stories.
We've got some of the best reporters on the field,
Taking you through as it happened.
it's fast-paced, hard-hitting,
With investigations that matter.
bringing in news that affects your life.
With sport, entertainment, and business news so you don't miss a thing.
Experience resourceful coverage with depth.
Every night.
The National Assembly is a busy place. As the bastion of democracy, it is a place where bills are presented, motions debated, laws made, and the yearnings of the people are laid bare. Come with us as we take you through the workings of the National Assembly. We take you through plenary, committee meetings, and probes, all to ensure smooth working of the democratic process.
Welcome back. We'll try to reconnect with Paul Uzum, but for now it's time to bring you the latest figures from the closing transactions from the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The market closed negative today with the all-share index down 0.36%. Top advances for the day, we have WABCO, NNFM, Ardova, NCR, as well as UACN. And top losers, we have Dangote Cement, MRS, Cadbury, Flour Mill, as well as Guinness. We now have market editor Effiong Ekop in our studio to bring us all of the latest as well, additional information. Good to have you on the show, Effiong.
Thank you, David.
Now, the market is trading negative. We've had a bit of correction, and then we've had bullish trends once again. Yep. What's playing out? What do you think is playing out at this point in time?
You see, from Monday, the market was dipping. Only yesterday to come up and join global markets to welcome the inauguration of Biden and Harris in the U.S. and back to its position. Because there is pressure now, schools have resumed and parents need, to sell some of their stocks, to fund, educational facilities of their, wards. That's basically the main thing. And then again, by this time, they had already taken profits on their investments. Okay. The only level remaining is just the trading quarter, the last quarter of banks and some of them for 2020. So that may not be big enough for those who do not care about profit in the banking subsector.
Effiong, before we just go deep into our conversation, I'd just like to bring Paul Zulum back into the conversation. Good to have you once again, Paul. Hello, Paul, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Yes, now, still wrapping up our conversation now, we already have the closing figures for today from the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, but I'd just like to have your thoughts now in terms of the treasury bills and bond market. We've had special treasury bills come into bear. We've also had some new bond auctions as well. What's your forecast for the year 2021 and then the tenure of maturity for all of these?
Okay, well, I think a low interest rate regime has come to stay. For those who are waiting and trying to, they want to be sure that if this current interest rate regime is going to stay for long, they would get to realize that the central bank is serious, and what with the interest rate regime that happen right now is going to be like that for the short to medium term. So we see most deals going for as low as maybe 1%, like what we're seeing right now, for in the short term, next 6 months. And for the impact of that on the equity market is that this year, as most of such deals mature, such funds will find their way into the equity market. So what will happen in the equity market this year, 2021, I think as such funds come in search of high-quality stocks, the market records some significant gains. We don't expect to see as much as 50% like was recorded in 2020. However, we expect to see a double-digit of a range of between 10 to 20% gain in the year 2021. And that would be anchored, that the main policy driver is interest rate regime. And good enough, we're having a crude oil price at $54 for price of Brent today. So that will give a strong sense of confidence to investors who are participating in the market.
And Paul,
However,
before I let you go, we're just having slight hitches here and there, but before I let you go, I'll just like your reaction on the closing figures from the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The market is trading negative. This is not coming as a surprise, as Effiong has highly has made mention of. We are seeing a bit of market correction here and there, but he still feels that we're going to have bullish trends still sustain the market. Do you also share in that optimism?
Okay. What's happened this January was that last year most of the stocks that we had significant rally are high cap stocks. So this year what we had was this January we had that rally was cascading down to the low cap stocks,
exactly.
Insurance companies, stocks which people were not trading before, the likes of Japan moving from as low as 20 kobo to as high as over 150, 160. Then several low-cap stock, insurance stocks, and recording significant price gains as well. We also saw activity in Transcorp. Transcorp moved from a lower from 190, from a lower of 90 kobo to as high as 140 today. But due to profit taking on Transcorp, it sends a signal, a negative signal to the entire a group of investors that invest in low-cap stocks. So most of the stocks that are lost today are more of low-cap stocks. Their impact on index is quite low. It's quite low, so that's why the market just recorded the minimal loss today. However, what we expect in the next few days, by end of next week, by the end of next week, we're expecting the unaudited results of companies to start coming out.
Exactly.
So after that result, those set of results comes out, and the result that the full year for 2020, when these results are out, investors will take a critical look of the results, analyze them, and they'll be flight to quality. You'll flight to stocks that are capable of paying good dividends, so stocks that have good earnings and dividend yield.
Okay, very much. Thank you very much for your time on the show so far, Paul Uzum, the stockbroker and equity trader at Planet Capital Limited. It's been a pleasure having you speak with us, and we apologize for the hitch there earlier on.